believe he's being targeted.
You believe he's being targeted?
Yeah. I believe, somebody, has the power to pull the trigger to make, this stuff, this domino effect happen.
Ice Cube was saying if you read through the line what Ice Cube was saying, he was saying that all us or all of them has done the same Diddy been doing. And because he pissed somebody off, they targeted him. They're gonna make an example out of him. Whatever you do at this point in time, you understand, we gonna crush everything that you got to show the other people behind him you don't come out and speak up or speak out on us. What Ice Cube was saying, brother, was that it ain't only Diddy. Picked on, targeted, that means there's other people that they know, but they just not gonna say anything about it.
That's why the game is twisted.
Imagine you found out Jay-Z never wrote his You would look at him so different.
You look at everybody different when you find out that. In hip hop, it's like you an MC or you a vocalist. Which one?
At the center of it all are two of the most recognizable names in hip-hop history, Sean Diddy Combs and Sean Jay-Z Carter. Both men have commanded massive influence over music, fashion, culture, and business. But now, Diddy is under severe legal scrutiny, and insiders claim he may be ready to turn over explosive information on some of his closest associates. One of the most surprising voices to chime in on this matter is none other than Ice Cube. Known for his no-nonsense attitude and deeply rooted experience in the music game, Ice Cube has made a very public statement that is causing ripples across the entertainment world. What does it mean? Who's in danger of being exposed? And could Diddy's downfall drag Jay-Z into the mud as well? Let's break this down and look beyond the headlines. To truly understand what's happening, we have to begin with Diddy's current situation. The mogul, once seen as one of the untouchable giants of hip-hop, now finds himself in the eye of a legal storm. After a grand jury indictment, Diddy was arrested in Manhattan. The charges he faces are serious and wide-ranging, touching on misconduct, manipulation, and organized wrongdoing over an extended period.
But he is not charged with being mean. He is not charged with being a jerk. He's charged with running a racketeering enterprise. And though there was violence that you were going to hear about, you already have, that violence is not part of any RICO. That violence is not connected to trafficking, and that violence is not There was a name in criminal law for the violence we will hear about and we will see at this trial. It is called domestic violence. It is called domestic violence is a very serious matter. I want to say that now. It is a bad, illegal problem, and it is something that the law addresses. We take full responsibility that there was domestic violence in this case. Domestic violence is not trafficking. I want to say it again. Domestic violence is not trafficking. Had he been charged with domestic violence, had he been charged with assault, we would not be here right now. We would not be sitting through an 8-week trial. However, he has been charged with different crimes. Trafficking, racketeering. These are federal crimes with their different statutes. They charge different elements, and he simply is not guilty of those crimes.
During this trial, you're going to hear about 20 years of the defendant's crimes. But he didn't do it alone. He had an inner circle of bodyguards and high-ranking employees who helped him commit crimes and helped him cover them up. Kidnapping, arson, drugs, crimes, bribery, and obstruction. These are just some of the crimes that the defendant and his inner circle committed again and again. You are going to hear about all of them during this trial. Let's start now with just one night. The defendant was on the hunt for his girlfriend, a woman named Cassie. For years, the defendant physically abused Cassie. He also exploited her, forcing her to have male escorts while he watched and recorded it. But that night, the defendant learned he had lost control of Cassie. He found out Cassie was seeing another man. Furious, he set out to find Cassie and that other man, but he couldn't do it by himself. So he took his gun and he took his bodyguard, one of his most loyal lieutenants, to wake up one of the defendant's employees in the middle of the night. The defendant yelled that he was going to kill the man Cassie was with. He demanded that his employee take him to that man's home. The defendant forced the employee out of her apartment and into an SUV. They drove to the house. The defendant and his bodyguard broke in, but no one was there. The defendant did give up. He kept looking for Cassie. When he finally found her, he did what he had done countless times before. He beat her brutally, kicking her in the back and flinging her around like a rag doll. All of that violence wasn't enough, though. The defendant had to make sure he had control over Cassie once again, so he threatened her. The defendant told Cassie that if she defied him again, he would publicly release the videos of her having sex with male escorts that he kept as blackmail. Souvenirs of the most humiliating nights of her life. This was just one night in the defendant's 2 decades of crime. In one night, he and his lieutenant kidnapped an employee, broke into a man's house, and the defendant beat and blackmailed his girlfriend. And as you will learn, this was just the tip of the iceberg. These are not the only crimes the defendant committed. That's not the only time he kidnapped someone, and Cassie is not the only woman he beat or exploited. For 20 years, the defendant, with the help of his trusted inner circle, committed crime after crime. That's why we're here today. That's what this case is about. 20 years of crime is a lot to cover. So first, I'm going to walk you through what evidence in this case will show.
Although the exact nature of the allegations is still emerging, what we do know is that at least 8 civil lawsuits have been filed against him within just the last year. These lawsuits come from multiple directions and paint a picture of a man who may have been running a high-stakes game behind the scenes. But it's not just about individual cases. What's alarming is the accumulation, the sheer volume of accusations. When multiple stories start aligning in theme and timing, they begin to raise broader questions about how deep this alleged behavior goes and who else might be connected. The court of public opinion is already buzzing. But now, the legal system is speaking, with subpoenas and search warrants. Amid all this chaos, Ice Cube has stepped forward with a very clear and deliberate message. At a recent concert in Las Vegas, Cube addressed the swirling rumors surrounding Diddy's controversial parties. Speaking directly to his fans, he declared that neither he nor his longtime collaborator WC had ever attended any of Diddy's notorious gatherings.
Almost 40 years rocking the mic. You still killing it, goddamn. And I'm gonna tell you right now, me and Dub C ain't never been to a Diddy party, mother. You ain't gotta worry about us on them mother tapes. Now check this out. Anybody in here that has, I got one thing to say to your. What you? I got one thing to say to your. If you've ever been to one of those parties, what the you got to say? Boy or girl, you better check yourself or you wreck yourself.
Diddy. You're hearing Diddy everywhere, okay?
Yeah.
So, did you ever have any kind of run-in with Diddy? Did you ever do anything with Diddy? Any projects you worked on with him?
Yeah, he's produced a few records, or had his producers do a few records on my War and Peace album, Peace Disc. Yeah.
How was he to work with?
It was cool. You know, he, gave us great music. We flew out to New York, and I was mainly in the studio with the producer. You know, he had a stable of producers, so I was in the studio with his stable of producers, and I think we did some great music. And you know, I really kind of lost contact with him and really stopped dealing with Puffy around 94.
Yeah. Any specific reason?
Yeah, I mean, they was doing their thing, I was doing mine. And I'm not the partying type. You know what I mean? I ain't never been to a Diddy party. Ain't never really wanted to go. But I don't go to a lot of people parties. That just ain't what I'm in it for. You've been to one, you've been to them all.
Are you surprised at what things are coming out with Diddy at all, or you're like, you have no idea? It's none of my business. You'll live longer. Kind of like the mindset.
I mean, surprised. How could you be surprised with anything that happens in hip hop? You know, hip hop is the Wild West. So you're gonna have the good, you're gonna have the bad, you're gonna have the ugly.
You think he's being targeted, or some of the stuff he's got, you know, there's credibility on what they're coming after him with the tapes and the feds and raiding his Miami home, his LA home?
I believe he's being targeted.
You believe he's being targeted?
Yeah. I believe, you know, somebody, you know, has the power to pull the trigger to make, you know, this stuff, this domino effect happen.
Okay. All right. So you think he's being targeted. So you don't think, you know, Shook said, you can say what you want about Diddy, but Diddy didn't learn to like young boys. He learned it from a man named Clive Davis. He threw Clive Davis in there. It doesn't sound like you're part of that camp. You're part of the camp that you think he's being targeted.
You know, I don't know enough to even be able to be specific on any of this stuff. It's just all speculation. I just know he was cool up until a point, and then this stuff started happening. So I believe somebody, you know, like I said, yo, he's our new guy we on this year or whatever.
That statement, though seemingly simple, carried significant weight in the current climate, where reputations can be stained by mere association. Cube's statement wasn't just about denying attendance. It was about distancing himself from the toxic cloud now enveloping Diddy's legacy. He emphasized this point further, making it known that fans won't have to worry about seeing him involved in any compromising recordings or footage. This is especially notable given the explosive allegations suggesting that many high-profile individuals may have been caught on camera during questionable activities. Whether or not such materials exist, Ice Cube made it crystal clear he has no ties to that world.
Hey man, the first thing I want to ask you about is Ice Cube. He came out with a comment that went viral. God. He said that he feel like Diddy is being targeted. How you feel about him saying that?
My man, Ice Cube was saying what, if you read through the line what Ice Cube was saying, he was saying that all us or all of them has done the same Diddy been doing. And because he pissed somebody off, they targeted him. They're gonna make an example out of him. Whatever you do at this point in time, you understand, we gonna crush everything that you got to show the other people behind him, you don't come out and speak up or speak out on us. What Ice Cube was saying, brother, was that it ain't only Diddy. Picked on, targeted, that means there's other people that they know, but they just not gonna say anything about it. You understand? They're not gonna use them right now and put them up on a pedestal and knock them down like they doing Diddy. If Diddy hadn't done anything, if Diddy wasn't involved in anything, ain't nothing they could do to you. They could come at you, but if you got enough money like he had enough money, you understand? Whatever they say, the lies don't stand, bro. The truth stand. So Ice Cube saying that, I was a little disappointed. But what he was actually letting y'all know was this. It ain't only Diddy. There's other people. But because he came out and called those people racist, because he came out and tried to put a lawsuit against them, they gonna show him, you don't bite the hand that feeds you. That's what that was all about. I met Ice Cube before. When Puff was doing a video with Fabulous in California on the beach, Ice Cube, within walking distance, was doing beauty shop at this, it was barbershop at this place. I guess it was a barbershop right there next to the beach or whatever. He was shooting it there. So Kobe was there, Fabulous, Puff, and then we went over to the set of barbershop. I met him before, a good brother, man. But all he was saying in a slick way was that it ain't only Puff. Puff ain't the only one that's doing this. He's just being targeted about what he has said and what he did, bro.
Yeah, I know Cube, he getting a lot of backlash right now for that comment.
Yeah, he ain't the only one.
In an industry where many choose silence, his public stance feels like a line in the sand. It signals to fans and fellow artists alike that when the truth starts surfacing, some reputations will stand, while others may collapse under the weight of exposure. Now, here's where things get even more complicated. With Diddy reportedly under pressure to cooperate with federal investigators, rumors have surfaced that he may be willing to provide information about others, possibly including Jay-Z. According to Derek Parker, the former NYPD detective widely known as a hip-hop cop, Diddy may be considering a deal to become what is known in legal circles as king for a day. This arrangement would allow him to speak freely, revealing details to prosecutors in exchange for leniency or reduced sentencing. If true, this could have major implications. Parker specifically noted that Diddy and Jay-Z were extremely close over the years, attending the same events, running in the same business circles, and sharing mutual associates.
How do you feel about people constantly trying to drag Jay-Z into this Diddy situation when I haven't really seen like one piece of evidence that ties him to this at all?
Well, I would say this. It's kind of funny to me, man, is that Diddy used to hate Jay-Z. He hated Jay-Z enough when he was trying to get Ja Rule to go at Jay-Z. This is back in the early 2000s. And one day, Asner, Kushner, Diddy, and myself went to a Nets game and we met Jay-Z. I've never been a Jay-Z fan, you know, like some of his music, the whole 9 yards. But when we went over to the, I think that was Prudential Center in Newark, and him and Puff met up, it was strange to me. Because I remember what Puff was trying to do. And then both of them, they was talking about something amongst each other, amongst all of us, and laughing and joking with each other. Then over the years, I see them giving garden parties. You understand what I'm saying? You could tell that the people in power had gave that reign to Diddy, and Jay was next in line. So to separate him, when in fact they may be two of the same, but because Jay-Z is low-key, that low-key sneaky, and Diddy is, and was, rambunctious, you know, just out with it, it don't mean that they not two of the same. One just a little quiet with his.
What happened at the basketball game? When they ran into, you guys ran into Jay-Z?
They were just talking. They was talking amongst each other about their little white girls. They little skinny white girls.
And I mean, did Diddy always say negative things about Jay around you?
The time he was trying to get Ja Rule to go at Jay, yeah. He was. They worked it out.
Was there a reason behind it?
While none of the allegations toward Jay-Z have been confirmed or verified, the mere possibility of him being named in an official capacity has sent shockwaves through the entertainment world. And it's not just Jay-Z. The concern is broader. Diddy, if pushed far enough, could reveal names, dates, and stories that pull down pillars of the industry. This isn't speculation anymore. It's a very real possibility based on legal precedent and investigative strategy. The hip-hop industry has long been seen as a battleground for power, influence, and survival. Ice Cube called it the Wild West, and for good reason. For decades, stars have risen and fallen, not just based on talent, but based on their alliances, access to money, and what they were willing to ignore or participate in. Along the way, Diddy and Jay-Z weren't just musicians. They were empire builders. From clothing lines and vodka brands to streaming platforms and real estate deals, these two shaped pop culture in the boardroom as much as they did in the studio.